So what calls you? What calls you? I know a very strange question to begin with, but let me articulate this a little better. What is your purpose? What are you here for? What is the change you want to see in this world? So what calls you? So let me throw some data at you, just to say that if this calls you. So here's some data. India, 1.32 billion people, 638,000 villages in our country. Let's go a little further. 72.2% of the population live in villages, and that is going to be 60% by 2030. So it means people are going to move to the cities. Let's look further. There are 260 million farmers in India, 22% of the population, and the farmer suicides in the last 20 years has been 310,000 people. 10 years back, I was confused in my corporate job. I went to my mentor and I said, I don't know what I'm here for. I don't know what I want to do. I was chasing jobs, chasing the next big designations. And I said, I don't know, and what am I doing here? And he just told me what calls you. And he said, Manav, just be available, and something will call you. And this called me. So I left my corporate job and started working on this agenda, but there's a larger context. What calls me is jobs. There are no jobs, right? Farmers commit suicide because the jobs are not sufficient. Middlemen. People migrate to cities in search of jobs. Young people take guns as jobs. And what calls me is, how can we create jobs so that we have sustainable communities? Where is the Uber for farmers? Why aren't any startups creating that? With that motivation, I said, startups create jobs. How many of you know startups create jobs? Yeah, startups create jobs. So I said, okay, we're going to create those startups that are going to be really reforming the villages of India, and I started working on the startups. The cool guy who left his job thought he could do it all, right? You're so cool. When you leave your job, everybody's saying, wow, how is that so cool, right? But it's not cool when you realize you haven't got it right. And that's what happened. So I was doing this typical Silicon Valley style workshops for students all over and in India. And then I realized the startups are not starting up. There is a huge failure rate, and of course there is a huge failure rate in startups. And a number of these startups were just not doing it, right? I mean, working with 10,000 startups, and some of them becoming successful. I thought, is that good use of my time? Maybe it is, maybe it is not, but I started wondering, and then started looking at some additional data. Let's look at the big companies that were once startups. How many jobs that they created? IBM, Intel, born out of the computer revolution, right? 380,000 jobs by IBM, over 107,000 by Intel. So quite a number of jobs, yeah, if you're successful, And then let's look at the new companies. Google, we all know Google, 62,000 jobs. And now we are coming to startups that are getting born out of the digital revolution. And let's look at Facebook, 12,000 jobs, over 12,000 jobs, and 1/7 of the world uses Facebook, right? And 12,000 jobs, and that makes me wonder, startups, do they create jobs? Yeah, they create jobs. Of course, these are valuable startups, but they create more wealth, they create efficiency, and they charge our economy. We all know that, no doubt about it. But I said, I'm not going to spend my time motivating the startups to transform rural India. Let's do it differently, right? And then I went home and motivated my sister, yeah. And within 2 months, she left her job as well. And that's where my father had a panic attack, right? Do you want me to go back from a retirement back to doing a job, right? What are you really trying to do? And something that I was really inspired was, At that time, and something that I really wanted to do with my sister, who's like a healthcare expert, like let's go to rural India, right? I'll do the same stuff with the people in the villages, the same Silicon Valley, big city stuff, but now in Hindi, other languages, and let's do it for people in the villages. So I started doing that. I went to Uttarakhand, went to villages of Andhra Pradesh, and since I speak Hindi, I was doing this workshop in Hindi in Uttarakhand in one of the hills in Gupt Kashi. And there was like all the energy, right? You know the hackathons, you know the accelerators, the way they all work, right? Energy, let's make mistakes, let's make it happen. Everybody is charged up. And there are phenomenal people who are in this workshop, and they're building their companies. And then one day, one person dropped out. And I said, what happened? So his colleague says, sir, usko security ka job mil gaya. He's joining as a security agent. And I said, but he's a cool guy. He should start up. He said, no, we need jobs, sir. We don't need startups. And again, that made me wonder what's really going to happen, right? Again, you get it wrong. And that's where I started looking, what's going wrong really, and is there something wrong? But then I started thinking about a model that has inspired me since I was a young person or a teenager, right? And this model is this model. How many of you are from the PCO generation? How many of you seen this, right? This has created 55 lakhs jobs, 5.5 million jobs, right? Because of this, right, a lot of entrepreneurs, local entrepreneurs could make money. People who were underserved, people with physical challenges, all of them could set up a PCO and make money. And PCO, for those of you who don't know, is like a public call office which offers pay-per-use phone service. So I used to use the PCO, drop a 1 rupee coin and talk to my father or my mother, and it was great because I didn't have a mobile phone. So that created jobs, right? And I started wondering, is there a PCO model for rural India? And then I started going back and working for 17 years in various large corporations. You always get these corporate entrepreneurs, right, who are creating this technology that they want to take to the grassroots, as we call them, right? The next billion customers. How do we do market expansion? And every company I know is trying to do that. But then the budget cuts will happen and everything will wind up, right? Because you have to focus on your core business, right? But there is an intention. There is really an intention among large organizations and startups that are mid-sized to really transform. And then you go down to the bottom of the pyramid and you look at this person and he said, sir, I need jobs like yesterday. Can you give me a box which I could install and start? I don't need your workshops, right? I mean, they are very polite. They survived my workshop. They went through the pain. But that's what they really wanted to tell me, right? So I looked at it, okay, I'm at the top of the pyramid, look down, people, both of them are wanting something, but nothing is happening. Can I make it happen? And then you look back, maybe the pyramid is not inverted. Maybe it's like this. Can this person at the bottom of the pyramid and this person in the corporate sector or a large company, can they co-create businesses that could be taken in a box and taken to rural India or in the villages? And that's what things started changing. I said, let me do that. Let me take the pain of entrepreneurship away. If you look at the large corporate entrepreneurs or big companies, they want to go to the villages, but there are 638,000 villages, so many languages, so many cultures, so many beliefs. How are you going to scale, right? The scale is a big issue. How are you going to scale? You can't make a box that can scale, right? So you have a last mile challenge. And then you go to this person who's at the bottom of the pyramid. I thought it's bottom of the pyramid, maybe it's not again. But this person knows his village so well, knows the community, and is just waiting for innovation. So I said, okay, let's take the pain of last mile away from the corporates, and let's take the pain of innovation away from the last mile entrepreneur. And that's where things started happening. And in fact, last 6 months, there have been phenomenal results that my team is producing on this model. And we have created probably the world's first co-creation accelerator in a village in Mori in Andhra Pradesh, which is on the East Godavari region. And this is a co-innovation, co-creation accelerator where some of the largest companies in the Silicon Valley, some of the largest companies of India, are co-creating now business models. So it's a business model development exercise and taking it to the last mile and making it happen. And let me give you 3 models right now that are working phenomenally, though we have 5 entrepreneurs that will be graduating out on the 29th of December from this accelerator. So we will have 5 entrepreneurs in 6 months graduating from this village and launching their business. So let me talk to you about the first one. The first one is a healthcare center. Now, we all know telemedicine. We all know it works, it doesn't work, so nothing great about it. But what happens here is this is in partnership with a large hospital. Now, when we started co-creating, the village level entrepreneur said, we don't need doctors. We have our own set, right? Their own beliefs, own set of doctors, quacks, fake doctors, whatever you want to call them, but there's a belief, right? But they said that when there is a struggle, when we are struggling, we go to the cities and we had to wait in queues. And when we go there, time is up, right? We never get there, we never make it because we don't know who to meet. Can this telemedicine center do that? So this telemedicine center is co-created with that intent where anybody from this large hospital would get early diagnosis, and if there is a need, he or she will get an express lane treatment to this hospital at a 50% or maybe lesser cost. And that is cool. And now we are developing this model, and it would be hosted by a village entrepreneur. Let me tell you another story. This model is about an entrepreneur who's a shrimp farmer. Shrimp harvest gets wiped off if the acidic level of the water drops, right? If the oxygen drops, and the whole harvest is spoiled. So there's a co-creation happening now with a sensor company, a data analytics company, and a solar company. So you see the solar panel there, where you could make a box, go to this pond, test the water, give a real-time report to the farmer so that they can take action and come back. And this is offered like water testing as a service, as a model, as a box, right? As a PCO is getting offered in this village. And similar model, we are doing soil testing as a service. We all know farmers, they come with their soils to the labs and to the government labs when the crop is gone completely. And here is a third model, which I am very proud of, by the way. And the reason I'm proud of is that it addresses a big problem that I didn't know about. Now, India is a land of art and crafts, we all know that. There are 43 lakh weavers in our country, 4.3 million weavers in our country. And within our generation, some of them are going to get extinct. They're all gone. And Andhra Pradesh and Telangana have about 250,000 weavers. And this village where I am working has about 100,000 weavers. And these are weavers, and these are pictures of these weavers who make beautiful hand-woven saris. They are beautiful hand-woven saris, and they make them, and they take it further through a local entrepreneur. Now, these saris are not cool anymore, right? They're not cool anymore. And when I was taking my village entrepreneurship class, there's a girl who just stood up and said, I want to change that. I want to change this. And she said she wants to get the e-commerce revolution to the village, right, where her parents who are weavers, could sell their products. So here is the difference. It's not products coming to the village, but village becoming a producer and you shipping products from the village to the cities. And I'm happy to tell you that this girl, Harita, is getting the e-commerce revolution with a big e-commerce company and reviving the AP Innovation and Weaver Society. The society, the cooperative society that sells and employs these over 1,000 weavers, and she's reviving that. And she's with us today. So let me invite you, Harita, who's here, who's just going to talk briefly about what is she doing. So please welcome Harita. So Harita, what are you doing?
I am from weaver's family. My father is a weaver. That's why I know the problems faced by a weaver. He works from morning 3 a.m. to 10 p.m. but he gets 150 rupees per day. I'm an engineering student. To pay my college fee, my father going to labor work. He got 300 rupees per day. That's why not only my father, all the weavers are interested to go labor works. The main problem of weavers is marketing. So I want to get e-commerce platform to the weavers.
And what's your dream?
I want to Mori weavers to be known to the world.
Let's give a big round of applause for the... Harita is my real hero. This is what calls me. And what I get from this is entrepreneurship is just not for entrepreneurs, right? There are entrepreneurs who are changing the world, but believe me, people who are doing other meaningful stuff can still change the world. We all can create jobs and create Haritas who are really going to transform the villages of India. So let's go create, let's be entrepreneurial, and get the transformation that the villages of India are waiting for. Thank you very much.